What? An enjoyable cinematic release in January? This cannot be true. Like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. If you're new, check out the rest of the channel and let me know what you think. Let's dive into Companion. Honestly, my one big negative of this film is that it was marketed terribly. I didn't see a trailer for this movie for the first time until about 2 weeks ago. And once I did, the entire plot was pretty much spoiled after that. This is a continuing trend for movie trailers nowadays. The overall visual quality of trailers have certainly become more enticing and compelling than they ever had in the past. However, often the studios reveal too much key information relevant to the film's narrative, twists, and finale shots in the actual trailers. Companion's trailers and spots do not evade this issue. It's unfortunate because there are some fun little twists throughout this film, and the experience without seeing any piece of footage beforehand would have been the more optimal viewing experience. That being said, this movie is a lot of fun regardless. It's a simple story. Guy orders a sex companion robot, begins a relationship with her, and then, along with one of his friends, compels the robot to murder a wealthy businessman for the purpose of framing the robot for the murder so they can make off with the millionaire's fortune. Tale as old as time. Pretty straightforward. What elevates this film, though, are the performances, the dialogue, and the comedy. Sophie Thatcher and Jack Quaid are both just fantastic in this movie. Both of these performers pull off their respective transformations beautifully. Iris is a robot that is able to be manipulated and controlled with the press of a button on an app. So the actress playing this role needs to be able to put on different faces and adopt different personalities at a moment's notice, and Thatcher does this eloquently. She strikes such a perfect balance between lifeless machine and soulful human. Quaid has a lot of fun in this role, you can tell. There are portions of this film when Josh's personality reflects that of the boy's Huey, at his most threatening and vulnerable. Quaid, in many of his projects, as well as his personal life, seemingly is just a sweetheart. But in Companion, he gets the opportunities to just be a despicable asshole, and I loved it. The rest of the cast also shows up, especially Lucas Gage, who plays a robot himself, and he sort of channels this ruthless Schwarzenegger vibe before succumbing to his tragic end, and it was enjoyable to watch. The movie is also funny. The film is obviously an allegory for domestic abuse, emotional abuse. Iris is a hostage in this relationship, forced to obey every command, to appease every request. It's meant to highlight those who feel trapped, and it does that. But that is a heavy subject matter to tackle. It would be difficult to center an entire narrative around that and have it be enjoyable for an audience. The way you get around that is to make it a dark comedy revenge thriller. Doing that allows you to craft a film that will resonate while also giving the audience a good time that they'll want to return to. And Companion does this. Even though Quaid is a piece of shit, he's still funny. Fun watching his idiotic plan just blow up in his face at every turn. And the entire cast gets moments to show off comedic chops. Even Mark Menchaca, who has what amounts to a cameo in this movie, has a hilarious interaction with Iris when she's on the run. All of that being said, the most impressive aspect of this movie is the dialogue. Drew Hancock writes this in such a way that none of the dialogue ever gives away too much. It never feels forced or exposition heavy. You are fed small tidbits of information along the way. He allows you to discover Iris's true nature on your own, utilizing such subtle lines or simple interactions. He gives you hints along the way, and none of the reveals ever feel unearned because of it. Speaking of Hancock, this is also his directorial debut, and what a debut it was. He holds sole writing and directing credits for this film, and I had never even heard of the guy, so hats off. He did a hell of a job. Even though this is almost entirely spoiled, I still had a great time with it. I love this new era of comedy thrillers. For me, as someone who acts somewhat inappropriately in tense and uncomfortable situations, movies like Companion are pretty relatable. Plus, who doesn't enjoy a bloody, goofy, witty revenge flick? Because I know I do.